Great to be here with the Wright family. Good to see you guys again. Thank you very, very much for being here. We've had our family's had a good morning. We have a number of our children and grandchildren who, mostly grandkids, who are here today. And Caroline Park is just an amazing place for many, many, many reasons. It's, I think, one of the real jewels here in the state of Ohio of a place to go to understand history, but it's also a place where little kids can have fun with the train and the Caroline and just all kinds of things here. And it's really a jewel. I was delighted to sign this bill. We're doing really a reenactment of the signing of the bill. And you'll hear from the two sponsors in just a moment about the bill. But the Wright Brothers story is truly an Ohio story. It's a story of innovators. If you think of Dayton, Ohio, Dayton has been a place of great innovation. And as we in the state look to the future and think about as we are bringing different companies in from other places, or when we're having entrepreneurs in Ohio, we really continue to emphasize that this is a state of innovation. And certainly the people that we look to as the most visible example of that are these two brothers who just kept at it and just kept trying different things and things that wouldn't work and didn't work, and just kind of tried to, over the years, figure this out. I think it is appropriate that this plane, which was really the first really workable plane, is the one that we are honoring. The 1905, really their third plane. We're going to have the opportunity, I hope, to show some of our grandkids later today to go to Huffman Prairie and to see where the Wright brothers really learned to fly. We hate to break that to our friends in North Carolina, but God love them. They had great wind and they have great sand, and it was a great place to go for the Wright brothers, and worked out very, very well. But the perfection of the flying obviously was done in Huffman Prairie, and the work, of course, was done in Dayton. And so it's very appropriate that I sign this bill today. Many people who live in this area have a story, and both Fran and I have a story, and it involves our separate grandfathers, and both of it was telling the members of the family something about seeing the Wright brothers. In my case, my grandfather remembers his father. They lived in a farm near Yellow Springs, and they would drive cattle to the Dayton stockyard. They raised cattle, among other things. And my grandfather remembered his father, as they were driving these cattle, talking about these guys that were trying to fly. And I think in the case of Fran's family and my family, at that time, it was a lot of skepticism among many people whether they were going to fly, but they did, and they did it in Huffman Prairie, and that's where they really learned to fly. So this is a big day, I think, for us, big day for Dayton, certainly a big day for the state of Ohio. Let me introduce now Senator Steve Huffman and then Senator Terry Johnson, both of whom was sponsors of this bill and worked hard on it. And we want to thank also all the members of the General Assembly, particularly the Dayton delegation, for their commitment to making this happen. And then we'll do a little ceremony here, and that'll be it, and we'll celebrate again. So, Senators, turn it over to you.
Thank you. Senator Steve Huffman, I first thank the governor and thank and recognize the members of the General Assembly. Senator Johnson, Senator Gavarone, Representative White, Representative Bernie Willis, Phil Plummer's up there, and if I see, do not see anybody else, and I see Mayor Mims up there. I appreciate Senator. Oh, there you are, so behind me, I'm sorry. Senator Blackshear. I appreciate Dr. Johnson came to me. He had a friend that initially brought that to him, and to have the Wright Flyers, the state airplane, and I enthusiastically agreed to be his co-sponsor because of the history of Dayton and what goes on here. And as the governor said, everybody has a story about the Wright brothers. My Aunt Shirley, my cousin Matt's mother, as you know, is the speaker, grew up about a half a mile down the road on Patterson Avenue. And Aunt Shirley died at 94 about a year ago. And she would tell the story that when she met Orville Wright, that Grandpa Wyan worked as a test pilot and in the bike shop with the Wright brothers. And one day Orville came up in 1933 in a Model T, and she was, a fidgety 5-year-old, and wanted to go play. And Grandpa Wine looks over and says, "Shirley, I want you to meet somebody named Orville Wright." And she remembered that almost to the day she passed. But as the governor said, flying, the Wright brothers are extremely historical. Brady's been very nice having us here today. As he said, not many people get down here into the well. But it's the history, and I'm glad to see that the Wright Flyer is going to be part of the history. And someone asked me the other day, so now we need to get the Wright Flyer on the Ohio seal back there in front of the sunset. So we'll see what we can do. So let me introduce Senator Terry Johnson.
Well, howdy, Ohio, and howdy, America. The Wright brothers don't just belong to us, they belong to America, part of American history. And I'm just so saddened today that I'm not joined by the gentleman that gave us this idea for this particular bill that Steve and I carried. If you haven't met Dr. Robert Nelson of Scioto County, Ohio, your life is at a deficit. He is one of the most wonderful human beings I have ever met. He is a great patriot, an Air Force veteran, and one day he called me up, not to encourage me like he usually does. He's just such a gift from God. But he called and said, "Terry, we need a state airplane." And I thought, well, gosh, we probably got some of those up in the hangar near Columbus, and I think the governor may have one. I don't know. And he said, no. We need like a state bird. We need a state airplane. I said, well, okay, well, tell me about that. And he said, there are some states that have a state airplane, not very many, but gosh, Ohio, being the birthplace of aviation, should have a state airplane. And I said, well, do you have a suggestion? And he suggested this airplane. So when he suggested this airplane, I thought of Steve Huffman, and also Matt Huffman, who was the president of the Senate at the time. And we got together and decided to come up with this bill. And I'm so happy we did. I think Governor Steve, Frank LaRose, former senator, my colleagues from the Senate and the House, I think maybe we need a state airplane license plate also. And so maybe we can come up with some type of a design for that, and maybe put it to some good purpose for historical things, or maybe even this park. Totally open to suggestions, and I think Steve will probably join me with that. I'm so happy to be here with the governor, with Fran, and all of you folks here that have an interest in this park. I tell you, it's the first time I've been here, and I am stunned just walking in. So I'm going to come over. I've been meaning to come over to the Air Force Museum again. I'm going to load up my camper, my wife, and my little wiener dog, Herbie, and come over here and do a tour. I don't know if Herbie's welcome in the park or not, but we'll have to find out about that. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us in Ohio, from all the walks of life that you represent, and just such a pleasure to be here. God bless.